Hey guys, it's James in the GBT podcast, and we are back for a new semester, but unfortunately this week the studio was closed when we were coming in to record, so we are adjusting on the fly because we want to be able to get content out to you guys. And there are a couple topics that we want to cover today and also kind of give you guys an outlook of what we'll be talking about for the semester. And the first thing before we got to winter break was the Cure Bowl. We didn't necessarily break down that game a ton, but unfortunately it was a loss for our Knights that put a questionable mark on the end of the season as to whether or not the season was a full-on success, as 6-7 is still a losing record, even as it was an improvement from 0-12. It's something to think about and we'll talk about as we get closer to the next season in spring practice. And also a big storyline that we'll be looking at is the loss of a leader and a backup in Justin Holman, as he is now going to be, have already graduated and will be on his way out of UCF. And the question will be now is the quarterback position, is who will be coming in to replace the leadership role of Holman and potentially as a player on the field, as we did see another unsatisfactory performance, to put it lightly, from Milton on the field. And that's something that we'll be looking at as recruiting continues to happen, and we'll talk more about that on a later date. But it does serve to note that the Knights will have a big hole in the leadership position on the team continuing on into next season. All right, and moving on to the sport that is in season right now, it is basketball for the Knights. And has it been a surprise for the Knights, as they have done probably better than expectations with a new coach and Johnny Dawkins, and even having some injuries to some key players like AJ Davis to start out the season, and then even through a stretch of games, BJ Taylor also. But now the Knights have everyone back and they're healthy, and as of right now they are up to 13 wins on their season, which puts them 7 away from our goal for 20 that we set in earlier episodes previous to this one. And it's something that we want to look forward to, as a lot of players have been stepping up this season. Most notably in the War on I-4 this past week, Matt Williams setting a school record for most threes in a game, to have a huge performance to push the Knights ahead in the overall total in the War on I-4. And it's a storyline that he's going to need to continue to be a great shooter for the Knights continuing on, as that is a key weakness of the team, but it's something that if he's able to provide that for them, completes the team, as their paint presence with Taco Fall continuing to have this breakout year under Coach Dawkins progresses. And it's also something that Knights will start to ask as to how will this look for March. March Madness is always the huge question, because it's such a big deal in the college basketball landscape, and we'll look forward to see how this affects our Knights. And that's something we're actually going to break down in another feature episode coming up, and that's something that we'll kind of talk about, and I'll kind of give you my opinion, my take on what the Knights should be looking at come March and for the rest of the season. But an important thing right now, as we look towards the rest of the season, huge games against conference leaders right now in SMU and Cincinnati are coming up, and the Knights need to at least beat each of those teams once to have a chance to make it into the dance in March. And that's something that we need to look forward to and be able to root those Knights on, as we do have that one of those big games, crucial games against SMU coming up this Wednesday at the CFE Arena, to go out and support them as we do make a push for March coming up. But as I did say, we will give a little bit more in-depth talk on March coming up in another feature episode. But another thing to power home is that the Knights have been impressive over this winter stretch, and it's been something that is certainly promising to build on, as Coach Dawkins will continue to be able to put his stamp on this program going forward, and that'll come in with recruits and other players gaining more experience under him in future years. But to see this as a starting year is something that has been promising, to say the least, and is very exciting to be looking forward to in the coming games and even coming seasons. And we can't talk about basketball without talking about our Lady Knights, who have been very competitive with a 12-7 record so far this season in a very tough conference to compete in the American Athletic Conference, with containing teams such as a powerhouse UConn women's team, which is very dominant, to say the least, as they have achieved 90 straight wins. It's something into that margin of 90 plus consecutive wins, which is a record, I believe, across the board in collegiate sports as a whole. So it kind of puts a lot of pressure on a team like the Knights with a new head coach to be able to be competitive in a conference that contains such impressive teams as we do look down the stretch. But it has been very promising thus far to see such a competitive team, and we look forward to potentially seeing them be competitive down the stretch as we get into more competitive AAC play and the American Athletic Conference tournament itself. And then, as we mentioned before, there will be some changes as the new semester comes in, as we continue to cover different sports, different events, and everything going on around UCF and the community. We'll try to get out into the community more, and also look at how we're going to be able to change the show as well and cover more that you want to see. What would you like to see us do? We're making the call out to the viewers. What would you like us to talk about? What would you like us to go to see? All these different things we're asking you, and just mention in the comments below what you would like to do. And we'll try and do that as we're wanting to expand and grow as a show this coming semester. And in one of those ways is the potential of bringing on a new co-host. And as you'll see, as we'll most likely make an announcement of that in the coming weeks, if that does happen, or if not, we'll see how it goes. But we are looking at bringing on someone else to be able to add to the show and make it better, as we did say before. And I hope you enjoyed the video this week. Feel free to check out any of our other featured videos on the channel, as we are trying to come up with more updated ones to come out in the coming weeks. Don't forget to check us out on social media. Hit the subscribe button at the bottom. And don't forget to have an awesome week. This is Jimmy T Podcast. See you next time.